everyone. The time has come for my seasonal reading video. I do these a lot. I do a summer reads, a fall reads, like a Christmas reads. Of course I have to do a spring reads. Have I done one of these before? I don't know if I have, but here I am doing it now. If I've done it before, which more than likely I probably have, I'll leave the videos down below. So, spring reads. What are spring reads to me? So spring reads are books that are not quite summery. You know, you have those books that just scream summer. They take place on a beach. They're about people going on vacation, you know, things like that. Those just really are all about summer. Spring to me, it's just kind of books that take place in the middle of the year, you know, that really just you can read any time, but I think spring's a great time to read. I think spring's a great time to read them because, I don't know, I just gravitate now more than ever more to lighter, fluffier books. And yeah, there's no rhyme or reason between these. So I have 10 books I want to talk about. 5 are going to be YA and 5 are going to be adult. And I think they're all great to read in spring, or really preferably anytime you want to. With the adult books, the first book I want to talk about is Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This is her third book. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about her first book, The Hating Game, which is very popular and personally my favorite romantic book. This is her latest one and I actually really enjoyed it. It's about this character named Ruthie who works at a retirement home. She's like kind of the manager of this like village, if you will, and basically she really dresses more mature than her age. She has glasses like on a necklace. She wears a lot of cardigans and things like that. And she meets like the owner of this retirement village's son named Teddy, who's like a motorcycle person, and he mistakes her for an old lady. So it's off to a tumultuous start, but they become friends and things like that. And it's just a really cute friends to lovers romance book that doesn't scream overly summer or like overly fall. It's just kind of a middle of the road book as far as like the year time-wise goes, and it was just cute. I think it's a great book to read in spring, and if you're confused by the turtles in the book, there are turtles a lot in this book. They're really native to like this area. I don't know where this book takes place. I want to say Australia maybe, but they're really native there to this retirement village, and they talk about turtles a lot, so there is some correlation. Why there are turtles on the cover beats me, but it was a super cute book and a great book to read for spring. Next up, I have One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. So this is a book if you are really missing your bachelor or bachelorette fix. Is it come on now, or does that... I don't watch, spoiler warning, I don't watch those. I watch like much horrible, more reality TV shows like MTV stuff. I'm ashamed of myself, but I don't know when The Bachelor, when does it come on? I don't know if it's like a fall time TV show or if it's more summertime. So disregard if like I'm saying it's off air and it's on air. But in case it is off air and you're missing that bachelorette reality fix, look no further than this book. A character named B, who is a plus size fashion blogger, and she watches the show called Main Squeeze, aka The Bachelorette, and she's like really frustrated because there's not enough diversity on the show. There's not enough like, you know, plus size women or men. It just doesn't show body positivity at all. And so she tweets about it, and next thing you know, she's the next main squeeze, and she's, you know, a bunch of men are competing for her heart and love. And it's just a really fun book. I'd say if you're not a fan of dating reality shows, like myself, you would still really enjoy this book. It's a fun time. It's a great book to read in case you're like missing like your regular TV shows and things like that, because I know they're about to go off air in May and June, I think, is when they go off air. I'm so behind on TV stuff. It's ridiculous, but nevertheless, I really enjoyed this one. Next up is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is her third and final book in her Brown Sisters series, and the cover of this also screams spring with this nice like light teal with this purple. Beautiful. Not teal. It's more like baby blue probably. But this is about a character named Eve who is at a crossroads in her life. She doesn't know what she wants to do. She has done a lot of jobs and she can't really find one that sticks. And her parents are like, hey, you need to move out. You need to find a career. Like, it's time. So somehow she ends up working at like this bed and breakfast as a chef, and she really does not get along with her boss, Jacob. They butt heads a lot, and so goes to be a hate to love story set in a bed and breakfast that is just also romantic and also beautiful. Perfect book to read in the spring, in my opinion. Like, goodness me, I wanted to go to this bed and breakfast and watch them cook and banter and all of the things. Another one that I've read that I haven't heard too many people talk about is Love Your Life by Sophie Kinsella. She is like one of my favorite chick lit authors. I just have a lot of fun with her books. So this was her recent release. When did it come out? Like last year maybe? I don't even know. Anyway, I forgot the character's name because I read it on ebook. I apologize. But we have a character that's a woman, and she goes to this like authors conference in this really remote village in another country. And like part of their experience is they can't even use the real names. Like they don't want you to know any details about anybody because you're there strictly for writing. But while she's there, their group gets met with another group, like a karate, jiu-jitsu group that their time really got blocked off so people could join in the writings group. And there she meets a guy named, I want to say his name is Matthew. I'm not quite sure. But they can't reveal other names or like any details about each other. But they fall in love during like these 2 weeks they're there. And they decide, hey, like, let's be in a relationship. Let's do this, because they both turns out to live in London. So they go back home to London, and they're a lot different there than when they're a lot different there than where they were at on the conference. They're revealing more information about themselves. They're very different personality-wise, but they still really want to make a relationship work. And the whole book is really quintessentially of, can you fall in love with somebody without really knowing them? Like, can you fall in love, and work on a relationship? And I actually really enjoyed it. I had a fun time with it. And it's not like one of my favorite Sophie Kinsella books, but it's not one of my least favorites. There are some that I really just don't enjoy by her, but this one was a fun one, in my opinion. And I really liked it. This one I want to talk about is Simmer Down by Sarah Smith. This one I read last year, and it is kind of summery, but it takes place in Hawaii. So like, there's probably beautiful there all year long. Correct me if I'm wrong. But basically follow a woman who has a food truck, and her parents' dreams have always been to have a food truck, and her father passes away, and she was a chef up in, I want to say, Seattle. And so when her father passes away, she quickly goes back down to Maui, and she helps her mom with the food truck and, changes her life dreams for her mom. And there she meets another food truck guy that's like a British guy that has a food truck, and they butt heads a lot, but they have to team up for this competition. And it's just a really cute book. Gosh, I love any books that deal with food. That's just my thing. And the fact that it takes place on food trucks and Maui, it was a really fun book. And again, I haven't heard a ton of people talk about it. I really liked it. It would be a great spring read. Those are all the adult books I want to talk about. Now moving on to the 5, not 10, Heather, 5 YA books I want to talk about. First up, I have to recommend a Jem Bennett book. I really love her books. This one is Starry Eyes. This one I think takes place during spring break maybe, so the perfect time. So for YA books that I'm talking about, that are spring books, take place still during the school year. That's my recommendation. That's my qualifications for it. As long as it's not summertime, as long as the school's in session, it's a spring read. Does that make any sense? I don't know. We have these characters named Zori and Lennon who have been best friends for forever. Their parents are best friends, things like that. But something happened and they're not BFFs anymore. They've also kind of had a love tryst back in the day. And basically what happens is this whole group goes camping and Zori or Lennon are forced together when everyone else bails on them. And they have to confront the truths about like why they don't talk anymore, what happened with their parents, and their relationship. It's a super cute book. Like, goodness me. Whenever I think about this book, I think of the character Eli from Degrassi. Yeah, I'm showing my age. But he was like the emo boy that was very popular when I was in high school. But it's a super cute book. It's about camping, starlight, things like that. So springish. Next one is kind of on the cusp of summer, but I'm still going to let it slide. And that is Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This book takes place in one day and on the last day of school. So technically school's in session, like on the borderline. So this is about a character named Rowan, and she has this nemesis named Neil. They have been like competing forever in school, like who's going to get the best grades, who's going to do this. And on the last day, they're competing on who's going to be valedictorian. Actually, Neil is valedictorian and Rowan is crushed. But they have this thing that every senior participates in every single year. It's called, what is it called? How, and it's like a scavenger hunt tag game all throughout Seattle because that's where this book takes place. And somehow Rowan and Neil end up teaming up together, and I hate to love romance story that was just so cute that takes place in Seattle. Recommendation, if you love the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, a must read. Next up is Anna K by Jenny Lee. This is the Anna Karenina, hopefully I said that right, retelling from a teenage point of view. So obviously a lot lighter. So this book follows Anna K, who is, very popular. She has a great boyfriend. She has to fit the image a lot of certain things. And basically her life's going all to, like, according to plan until she meets Count Vronsky. Hopefully I said his name right. And she's in a relationship when she meets him, but they feel the attraction towards each other. And if you know the story of Anna Karenina, you know how it's going to end up, I guess you could say. But it was a really fun one. I'd say if you're a really big fan of Gossip Girl, this is a great book to read. It's all about kind of socialites and the rich people, I guess you could say. I had really fun with it. It's going to be a series. I don't know when the second book's coming out, but I definitely plan to read it because it was a fun time. Like, gosh, it was like Gossip Girl knocked up a few pegs, and I was there for it. Next up, I have another ebook, The Upside of Falling by Alex Light, I believe. I read this last year. I loved it. It's like a cute, this one I would say, if you're really a big fan of To All the Boys I've Loved Before series, this is a great one. It's light, it's fluffy, it's not too adult, I guess you could say. We follow a character, please forgive me, I forgot their names because ebook, but she has not a lot of experience in her life. Her ex-best friend makes fun of her, like, you read all these romance novels, but you never experience love, you don't even have a boyfriend. And all of a sudden, like, the quarterback of the whole football team, like, comes up behind her and she's like, I am her boyfriend, like, you know, we're in love. And she's like, oh crap. So they decide, hey, let's fake date for her to, like, look like she's experienced love and for him to, like, have people get off of his back about finding a girl. And it's just a really cute friendship, fake dating that kind of goes on to real love. It's definitely got the same vein of To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It's super cute, it's light, it's fluffy, it's everything I look for in a YA contemporary, honestly. And the last book I want to recommend is A Faux Love Story by Lone Lee. This is a book I've read recently. It's like a YA Romeo and Juliet retelling, and it's super cute. So we have two faux restaurants that are across the street from each other that are rivals. And at those restaurants, we have Bao and Lin. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And their parents just really loathe each other. So they've never had an experience to be friends until they pair up in school one day and they become friends. And they have to hide their friendship and also their emerging feelings from their parents because, like I said, they have like rivaling faux restaurants. Like whenever one restaurant does a special, the other restaurant kind of decides to like upsell them. And it's just a constant battle. And it's also a constant battle because they both want to have careers that are not in line with their parents, who are Vietnamese Americans, and they really struggle with pleasing their parents and also trying to stay true to themselves. And it's a really beautiful, cutesy, lovey-dovey book that I adored. Like, books about restaurants that are rivals where the characters like each other but they can't tell. Definitely like got a Romeo and Juliet feel to it for sure. So there you have it. Those are the books I recommend for spring. You could totally agree with me and say these are springish reads, or you could not. Either way, that's okay. I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. I'd love to know what kind of books you read in spring. I would say spring's kind of anything goes for me, but summer is when I get really like romancy, summery books for sure. It's ridiculous. Summer and fall, I would say. But I would love to know if you have any like spring genres that you're just really designate to read in the spring months, or is it just kind of a anything goes situation? Please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.